Let's dive right into it. I see you already have pulled up the chart. This was some of the exciting trading that we got into this last week, and you already put it up. CVNA. At this point, I feel like you probably have heard of this short squeeze in action. I think at this point, Wall Street Bets has caught on. Quite a few like retail investor channels are starting to like chatter about this one. But looking right at this chart straight off the bat, I gotta say that Maxi Buddy bull print, that is, what is that, like 500% spot trade profit?
I think we have let's see, we have let's see, I'd saved this
let's go
earlier, but 527%.
That's spot. That's if you bought. That's if you bought spot.
Going.
Yeah,
and that's still going.
Yeah.
So what a run. I mean, I don't know if it's a short squeeze or from a chart perspective though, it looks really bullish. Like even if you switch the weekly, and this is the weekly chart, you can see how like 2021 it flipped bear and then it's just been in a downtrend. And then see, we got a bull print on the weekly too, and then you can see like we have like a rounded bottom here. This is like really bullish,
extremely bullish, and look like that print came well before any of the current chatter that people are aware. Like people are aware of this squeeze right now, but like this was what, like
this was in like early May. Beginning of May, basically.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull up at this part. Like look at these. Here's a few like Wall Street Bet posts that were posted around early May, and these people are either completely bear still, or like in this one here, they are calling a potential for a squeeze, and nobody's listening. So,
but we were very well positioned. We've been writing this, so we've been doing really great, along with like the other, all our members. Like we shared this chart with our members.
Yeah, that's a definitely like Discord. That's a big part of it, because like the Trading Buddy and the indications that it's been making on these charts is great on its own, but on its own it's not super valuable like it is in conjunction with the Discord chat. So Maxi members who are participating in our Discord chat they don't just have access to the Trading Buddy, but then in that chat we're like, hey, these are shares that we're keeping our eye on currently, and so this CVNA ticker
Carvana,
we were pointing this out. We're like, hey, this print is here, add this to your watch list, keep tabs on this. And and then once we started seeing this squeeze kind of forming, this kind of momentum building, we then in the Discord, aside from being like, look at this ticker, we were like, we are buying shares at this price right now, setting stops at these levels. And so we had quite a few members joining us on trades on these assets that were very, very happy with the returns from those trades, but also had said that they would not have necessarily been paying attention to this ticker or jumped into a trade without that side of it. So I just wanted to illustrate, I love showing off the Trading Buddy and showing off the indications that it makes, but absolutely is good value for the members who are participating in the chat and are are able to see that. And a big part of that chat that I really like, and that I've had a few people reach out to me saying that they really like, is at the end of every trading day, about 20 minutes or so before market close, before standard market close hours, Sid usually is posting a screenshot of all of the shares that he will be holding through the close market into the next day. And that's that's something that really helps people kind of like gauge what they maybe want to do if they want to follow along. It's a nice like real time thing that's going on, where when we're making trades like this, we're posting about them in that chat in real time as well.
Yeah, we kind of like post a list, and also we also post the reason, like, because we look at the buddy, and then we also like look at how to teach people trading, technical analysis. So which is also important. And
it's really like it's catching on. I gotta say, like seeing a few people in the chat where they'll be like, hey, I'm looking at this ticker and here's the ranges that I've drawn out. They're getting really good at it. I love it.
Yeah. I see a lot of improvement where they're getting more precise. Yeah. And that's something like, it's just practice,
Yeah.
Practice. But definitely yeah, it's like that's something you just have to keep practicing. But all the only thing I really use for trading is like basically our indicator, and then like technical analysis. That's all there is to it.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
And then we're able last week has been, you know, ever since like this bull print, we've been like playing some of the other stocks too. It's been pretty good.
Absolutely. So we're still into next week looking for a continuation of this trend. Like you said, the rounded bottom, very bullish. And obviously, like a few members of people in general out there are pretty aggressive when they want to play these kinds of motions. So people will get into like options positions or future trading and stuff like that. So there is a decent amount of risk involved when you start using leverage or start setting strict end dates for your position to play out, like with an option contract that has a strike date, and after that date it no longer is valid. So that's always fun to be able to help people understand how to navigate this. But like you showed that first chart, 527% on spot trading. That means just buying shares and holding.
This is not crypto, this is not Bitcoin, this is just
you're not
stock.
you don't get liquidated here. This isn't some kind of leverage that you have to maintain your margin. This would be, you put, $10 into the share when we got the buy print, you could have pulled out $520 out, like it's nuts.
It's crazy.
600 something actually, because 100 would already be double. So,
and I think we're just getting started. So like, I think we have a lot more to go. And it'll be interesting to see when we actually have the top and we get, basically the plan is to ride the trend. We have a bull print. All we have to do is just wait for it to flip bear. Just like here, we can see like earlier on, you see, and then you get a bear print and a red band together. That just means that it's most likely topped out.
Yeah, once we see that bear print on the daily, I think we are going to start like preaching about maybe taking profits. This has been quite a run, and it's important to not get greedy with this stuff, because I will admit it's difficult. It's difficult to sell something that just has made you 500%. And having that discipline is extremely difficult when you're doing it by yourself. So that's another big like boost in the Discord. I love seeing when like, hey, I see someone like, I'm taking profit here, I'm seeing this trend change, and then it's like, okay, I will join on this. It's like, hey, it gives me like that pause in my mind where it's like, hey, okay, people are taking profit, like maybe I should reassess, like, hey, I have made 500%. Maybe I take my principal off the table, there's no reason to ride this all the way up and all the way down again,
Yeah, exactly. I think like that's the thing, like risk management is also, and then just being disciplined. I think that's really important.
I've personally learned quite a few like risk management moves from a few of our members too, which is great. It's like
which is awesome.
Yeah, I've definitely gotten more active in like hedging positions or being much more comfortable with cutting a position that I've recently taken if the direction changes, and like just being like, okay, it didn't play out the way I had thought. Let's not wait. Let's like cut. It's okay to take a 0.5% or 1% like loss, or even just to close out a wash, versus trying to like the hoping and waiting isn't a strategy.
Yeah, I think like bag holding just for the sake of bag holding, like that's terrible, like it's important to, as a trader, like it's important to see if things are going south, like it's turned, the trend is flipped, and then it's the right thing to do is like take a small loss. It's totally fine, as opposed to like holding it and then losing everything.
Plus it gives you get the capital runway again to take a new position, and then you try again, versus being like, oh, I made this position, I'm sticking with it. The whole concept, there's definitely, I've heard quite a few people in the past say things like, you haven't made any losses until you realize the loss, until you've sold. The idea of like, sure, I'm down, but it's not a loss until I sell. That's nonsense. That's a really bad mindset. And so it's nice
because
to be,
at some point you'll panic sell, and you don't want to do that.
Exactly.
It's just like psychology, you know.
And you get into a position with like, again, buying and holding isn't a strategy. So when we open new positions, there is part of the position is like, for example, this one, it's like, okay, we're opening this, we see it's running up, like Sid and I are saying, there's definitely room to run higher. But if we start to see it like not continue to run, then we also have, as part of the strategy, a like exit point where it's like there's it's an exit strategy, like it's not like, oh, I'm gonna like hope and like someday maybe this will run to 100, 125, and honestly it might squeeze really, really aggressively, but
taking profits is a smart thing to do.
Taking profit is a strategy.
Just keep shaving off some, and then that's
even if it's just principle too. And like, for example, I have, especially like with plays like this that are this is like a kind of a short squeeze going on, but also like we were looking at the wider timeline, this is a very bullish, into like a very rounded bottom. The chart looks, it has
weekly, if you look at it,
plenty of juice left in this one. But part of like my strategy, especially when trading volatile assets, so not quite as relevant to like stock trading, but like especially in crypto markets, I have like certain rules that I follow no matter what the conditions are. And one of those rules is something like along the lines of, okay, take back principal when I've made a 200% profit. So if I put in $100, we're at $300 now. Okay, I'll take back 100. And then the way that I see that now, like before I was like, oh, I'm missing out on, maximizing my gains. Well, there's a better way to think about it, in my opinion now, is like I am taking my principal back and I am keeping double my principal exposed to the upside still. So I still have twice what I started with exposed to the potential upside, but I now have no more downside. It's house money, if you will. And that's a strategy, because that's a rule, and I don't care how like amazing the chart is looking and like how potentially it could make me much, much more. What I'm going to do is stick to the plan. And the reason I do that is because I'm an investor, and an investor has a strategy and is following the strategy. I'm not reacting to market conditions and trying to
investor or a trader. Like we need to follow rules and have discipline. And that's a really smart way of doing.
Yeah, and then I love the community side of it too. Like in the chat, I like people will hold each other to it, which that helps too. Because like I said, when you buy into it can be very real, because you buy into this asset and then like suddenly you have a money printer and it's printing money. It's hard to sell a money printer, So it's definitely nice to have that community aspect where you're not just sitting in the void kind of doing this on your own.